One of the biggest aspects of Terraria has to be its community, which is where we get some amazing mods like Calamity, and even certain items and features that make it into the game. But there is also one other corner of Terraria, which is speedrunning. The Terraria speedrunning community has been working on figuring out how to do certain things extremely fast for years at this point, and have found some of the best Terraria glitches to date. That's why, in today's video, we will be taking a look at the world of Terraria speedrunning. Before jumping into the different runs, let me first explain how the Terraria speedrun community works. Just like for most speedruns done today, the home of Terraria speedrunning is on speedrun.com, where you find multiple different speedrun categories for the game. The first section of categories is the base game ones, which has the more normal type of runs, like fastest to beat Moonlord, fastest to beat all the bosses, and fastest to get the Knight's Edge. Outside of the base game, we also have the categories extension section, which is where you can find all the special runs that you might not have ever thought about. This section has some more normal ones, like fastest to beat certain bosses or events, but also has runs for getting a platinum coin, crashing your game, crafting a Terra toilet starting from nothing, cooking a fish, and more. For all the different runs I went over, they also have their own subsections within them, like for people who use specific seeds versus random ones, Journey or Classic mode, specific version of Terraria, and if you're using glitches or not. Now that we have some context on how the Terraria speedrun community works, let's move on to actually looking at the runs. For the first speedrun that we look at in this video, we obviously have to look at the Terra Toilet Any %. Just like the name implies, this is a run where you see how fast you can craft a Terra toilet, with the best time right now being 12 minutes on a specific seed. This run may seem hard, but in the recent 1.4.4 update, we got a new glitch that allowed us to spawn in any item using a door. This glitch is very complex, so I won't be covering it here, but the simple explanation is the glitch door will move up or down the item ID list depending on what you do to it, which is why it is now the best way to do the Terra Toilet speedrun. For the next few runs in this video, I thought I'd quickly run through and explain the smaller ones, like Crash Any %, which will be the one we start with. Just like its name implies, the goal of this run is to see how fast you can crash your game, which may seem extremely easy if you have a bad device, but that's not exactly the case. For your run to count, the crash must not happen because of third-party actions, like unplugging something from your PC, and instead has to be caused by something inside of Terraria. This also leaves open the idea you could just use a really bad device that crashes in the world generation, but any crashes during the world generation part won't count either. Moving on to the next small run, we have the Death %, which is a run where you see how fast you can die. This is another run that may seem easy to do at first glance, but once you see that people have gotten the record down to lower than a second, you realize that might not be the case. This run is mainly done on a specific seed, which has explosives set up right at spawn, so as soon as you spawn in, you hit them and blow up. And for the last small Terraria speedrun that we look at in this section, we have the Any % cooked fish. This is a run where you just try to see how fast you can get a fish and then cook it, and people have surprisingly got this run very optimized, with the best run right now being exactly 45 seconds when using a specific seed. This run is pretty interesting in the fact that you have to use two worlds for this run, one to get some initial items from a chest, and another where you spawn in water where you will duplicate items and actually do the fishing. Next, let's take a look at the 3 different sword-related speedruns, which have you see how fast you can craft a Zenith, Terra Blade, or the Knight's Edge. These runs might sound pretty hard at first, and especially the Zenith one, since it requires the other 2 swords, but people have actually gotten them all down to extremely low times, like 8 minutes! Starting with the Zenith run, the best time for it is currently 8 minutes on a set seed, and just like the Terra Toilet, this run just has you using the door glitch for a while until you eventually spawn in the Zenith. The same goes for the Terra Blade as well, but its record on a set seed is currently 1 minute, as you can get it much faster than the Zenith in the door glitch. And finally, for the last sword speedrun, we have the Knight's Edge, with its best record being 3 minutes. This run is exactly like the Terra Blade run, where you use the door glitch to spawn in a Terra Blade, but after you get it, you then go to the Aether biome and throw it into Shimmer, where the Knight's Edge will pop out, completing the run. For the final section in this video, we will be taking a look at the boss speedruns. Each boss in Terraria has their own category, along with special categories dedicated to beating multiple or all of the bosses as fast as possible. Because there are just so many different boss categories, I'll only be covering the notable ones, as if I did cover all of them, it would probably double this video's length, but I will have another video in the future going over all of the boss runs. The first notable boss run is of course all events and bosses, which you see how fast you can beat all of the bosses and invasions, with the world record on a set seed being 4 hours long. While normally the set seed always has the faster record, for this specific category it's actually the opposite, with the random seed having the highest time at 2 hours. But it was also a 2-player speedrun. Another interesting run is the Torch God one, where you see how fast you can set up and finish the Torch God event, with the fastest being roughly 1 minute at the moment. This run will have you use 2 different worlds that spawn you by chests with torches in them, and then you also have to duplicate the torches while changing worlds, with you finally ending up with 102 torches before then placing them all in a cave. Another speedrun that is definitely notable is the Moonlord run, where you see how fast you can beat Moonlord, with the best record on a set seed being 7 minutes. This run has you mainly using the door glitch to spawn all of the boss spawners and gear that are needed for Moonlord, and to accomplish this task, you have to use 5 different worlds. For the last boss speedrun that we look at in this video, we have the Duke Fishron run, which has a world record of 13 minutes on a set seed using glitches. For this run, you will need to use 3 different worlds, and again use the door glitch, where you will spawn in a Terra Blade along with the items needed to spawn Duke Fishron. Then you head underground to a specific chest which has a magic conch in it, where you will then teleport to the ocean and start the fight. That wraps up this video. If you made it this far into the video, let me know by commenting Terra Toilet, and also let me know if you've tried or will be trying to do any Terraria speedruns. Thanks for sticking to the end. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and as always, make sure to have a wonderful day.